morning. I'm Beth Ferester, and this is my Beth Ferester podcast. So anyways, today I wanted to step back in time, a long time actually, back to 1997. I started my first company in 1991, and I had a lot of old-timers actually, as I think back on it, because that's the way it was. Everybody was very settled in real estate, and it was one of the days that before technology, and everybody just kind of had to use the old fax machines to do things and all that. But then by 1997, I had an idea of mentoring younger agents because I figured all the rest of them would probably get old and quit. So I decided to start mentoring. So one person that came to me in 1997, which was 23 years ago, their very first protege, and she's still with me today. And I wanted to introduce her to you. This is Marilyn Carson.
Hi. And
so she is my eternal protege, and I've been as proud of her all the time. I mean, she's a whiz in marketing, and I don't know, do you remember when you came to my office on 1960 and interviewed?
Absolutely, yeah.
And what were you doing then?
I was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, but you also were a designer.
I was doing wedding invitations and stuff like that, yeah.
So you were kind of into marketing.
I was kind of an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Well, she still is, I'll tell you. But yeah, you were a stay-at-home mom, and now you're a stay-at-home what?
Grandma.
But she doesn't stay at home. She works. But she moved. Well, we'll get into that and stuff. So anyway, so you came to my office, and what were you looking for?
I had just gotten, I was working on my license because back then you had to actually have a broker before you could even take the test. And so we were they told us to go interview brokers, and I decided I didn't want to go work for the big guys that took half your money and didn't give you anything. So I looked to see who was selling the most real estate in the area that I wanted to work in, and it was Beth Ferester. So I called her, not thinking that in a million years that she would even interview me, because everybody there was, seasoned agents. And
very seasoned.
Yeah, and she
Old.
said, funny you called, because I was just talking about doing this program. So there I was.
And there she was.
Right place at the right time.
And for me too. So she was the young person in the office. I mean, seriously, we were all much older than Marilyn. But then she came up with all these great ideas that she was doing and just went crazy with them and did super, super well. What was one of your ideas, your marketing ideas? I remember, but
I had a partner. So
yeah,
you had hired Monica McFarland, which was also my same age. We both had kids the same age, so we kind of partnered up. And she had a nanny during the day, so I'd bring my kids over to her house, and the nanny would watch them, and we'd go work. But we started marketing a neighborhood, that brand new neighborhood, and we kind of teamed up with some local businesses and did some marketing with them and sent out postcards with coupons, and we would have the back page of the postcard and we would sell them the front page. So we paid for our marketing.
Smart. She was always real smart at her marketing too.
So we did did flags and all that kind of stuff too on 4th of July and 4th of July parties and ice cream trucks, which I think was your original.
We did ice cream trucks. That jingle still goes in my head all the time. Da, 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 da. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, we did ice cream trucks for years and years in Glenlock.
It was insane. The things we did back then were crazy, that's for sure. But she and Monica had my heart, and they were so excited, and all the other people were like, they were kind of worn out in the business. So I really loved it, and I did a lot of marketing with them too. And we did that.
Crazy marketing.
We did this one. The front page, it was on the front cover of a magazine.
Of a local magazine,
You and Monica and I were on a chess, and there was one other girl there, too.
Yeah, you had one other girl for a little while. She didn't last very long.
She didn't last very long. After the chessboard, I think she left. We were on not a real chessboard, but it had us standing on a chessboard, and we were the what?
The masters of real estate, I think.
Yes. It was so dumb, but it got some really good attention. So...
It didn't make anyone in the office too happy, though.
Well, that was the beginning of the end of Ferester and Company at that time, because the older agents really, they were just kind of stunned at all the things we were doing. A little jealous. So we therefore sold to Coldwell Banker in 98 because it was getting too stressful and too many people like we talked about in our last podcast. But then we joined Coldwell Banker, and you actually stayed down in the 1960 area.
Yes.
At that office, because we had 2 offices at the time. We had one up in the Woodlands.
But I think what you did is when you sold, you kept Monica and I as like.
Well, you were on my team.
Yeah,
still.
we're on the agents.
You were on my team. You were just in a different.
Yeah, and then they moved that office to Glenlock Farms.
Yeah, to and you moved to Glenlock Farms.
Yes, I moved there.
So anyway, we moved to the office, and I went to the Woodlands to try to start business up here, which we did. So then you stayed down there, and you just sold. You did really well, especially in Glenlock Farms.
Yeah, I marketed Glenlock Farms mostly.
So
and then Monica retired because she had a 3rd child and decided it was
that's
way
right.
Too much.
She retired, but Marilyn stuck on there, and she stayed until. When did you go to
2014.
2014, and you went to.
I moved to Rosemary Beach on 30A in Florida.
How is Rosemary Beach real estate different from ours?
Oh, it's completely different. It's really more of a commercial kind of idea because most people are buying them as investment properties.
Yeah.
So you have to know a lot about ROIs and, that kind of investment, more investment.
Or second homes, a lot of second homes.
Well, there are a lot of second homes, but a lot of them want to rent them out too.
Yeah.
So, and it's just different because people aren't really invested in the house themselves. So it's not like you're getting someone excited about a new home.
Right, that's true. And they buy and sell a lot. I know my friends did that.
Flop them a lot.
Yeah. But it's a beautiful place down there. So you were there until last year, right?
Yes.
And then why did you decide to move back? I think I know.
Yeah, my son and daughter-in-law were pregnant, so they told us they didn't want us to be some weird people that lived in Florida. They wanted us to be a Gigi and a Pops, and so we decided to come back. And
were you ready to come back anyway? Probably.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I mean, it was starting to get crowded down there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were everybody had a real estate license, so it was kind of, although I did really well down there, it was just.
Well, you did. Of course, the price range was really good down there, too.
Yeah, the price range was really good.
Yeah, but you did well. Of course you did. So we were thrilled. So she was gone from me during, 14 till 19. And then she decided when she came back to come back. So our full career together spans all this time. So do you remember anything during the time that you got started, what hurdles you had to overcome?
Being young was a big hurdle, actually, because we were probably about 30, 31, and a lot of people just didn't trust you, or you had a lot of weird people call you because you had to put your head on everything, and everybody thought, oh, we'll call these young girls.
And you didn't have social media.
No, not at all. Well, we were still taping pictures to the brochures.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it was crazy.
We would have to have we'd take pictures, and then we'd have to bring them to Walgreens and have them printed in, snapshots, and then we'd make brochures and we'd tape the pictures on the brochures.
It was the old days. Actually, it was the 90s, yeah. I mean, it was in the 90s, so.
I mean, we barely had MLS online.
Right, we only had it a few years.
We also had key maps. That's how you figured out where you were going.
Oh, my God. That was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
you
terrible.
get this big book. It's about this thick.
And then you had to pull over and look up the key map. And you had to have the right key map numbers on all of your listings, unless people wouldn't be able to find them.
Right, right. And I don't even remember when cell phones came along.
We had the big brick ones.
I know. Mine was this big. My daughter was in the business with me for a while, and she and I did it. We did some corny ads too, just kind of like the chessboard. We did one with us in warm-up suits, like we were relaxing, and we had this big brick phone, here, like hi, and it was really kind of stupid, but it worked. It obviously worked. Those corny ads kind of worked.
Yeah. And then I remember when they came out with the Palm Pilots were really popular, and they had the Palm Pilot Supras, remember?
Oh, yeah.
But they were huge.
Everything was huge. Everything was huge. But before you had cell phones, you had to pull over to a horrible payphone and use it. So
and have pagers.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have any interesting sales in Rosemary Beach when you were down there?
I had several interesting sales. Lots of very, very interesting people with a lot of money. That you kind of go,
Yeah.
My favorite client down there was an older gentleman that's actually from Houston. I had a lot of Houston clients.
I bet you did. That was a good thing.
Yeah, it was. He was owns a salt company, largest salt company in the United States.
Really?
Besides Morton's.
Well, yeah. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a salt company besides
He bought a
Morton's.
beautiful house, but he bought it for his whole family. So,
yeah.
In fact, I talked to him a couple of days ago because he's an older gentleman. I was kind of worried about him, and he said they're here, but all of his kids are in Rosemary.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're doing this during the coronavirus, but Friday we open up, so we're excited about that. But we've been working the whole time. I mean, we have been selling houses during these past few weeks. Other things may be slow, and other things are slow because we also have the coffee house next door, Love Beans, and which has been really slow. And any of you that want to drop by should do so. But real estate's been bouncing. We have been so busy. We've got listings, people listing, and
well, we had a lot of stuff going on before.
Well, we did. We had a lot of stuff going on that we had to get closed, and some of the loans are hard to get. You lucked out with your last jumbo loan, buyer.
And I have a VA too right now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, that's supposed to close a couple of days.
So some of the loans are really kind of sketchy because you have to find one that will do jumbo loans first of all, because of they would rather do small loans because they get a service fee off of each one. So it's better to do a $300,000 loan than to do $1 million loan because you could get 3 service fees, and also it's easier and you're not taking so much risk with that much money. But you closed that one a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
And so when you went down there and you built a business down there, and you did have some contacts here that helped you down there, right?
My broker down there, I kind of lucked into. They were very small. Rosemary Beach Realty, a very small firm, and there was only like 8 agents. But I met the manager. I met his daughter here, and then she referred me to him, which is how I kind of got in there.
It's all in connections.
It is, because everybody wants to be in that office.
Yeah. It's the real estate is all in who you know and what a good job you do, and that's why you've been successful, is because you have done such a good job. So what hurdles did you find when you came back after 7 or
Well,
7
coming
years?
back, you're kind of starting over again.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
a lot of my customers moved out of town.
Yeah. Plus, you don't live where you did.
I don't live where I did, and a lot of my friends all moved into town. They've all sold their houses here because their kids are all grown.
They wanted to
and they
move
moved
into
back in town.
But you moved back because you were down in Glenlock when you left for Florida, and then you came back and you live up here in the Woodlands now.
Yeah, I live
so
in Creekside.
you really did have to start out new. And I've told the other agents in the office too to look at her marketing plan because she does such a great job with it. And coming back, and you've really started out. You've got listings, you've got buyers.
Yeah.
And how are you doing that?
A lot of my listings I'm doing just with neighborhood, with just meeting people. I joined a couple of clubs when I got here, and just getting out and meeting the neighbors. I put some stuff on we have a neighborhood Facebook page, and I offer to give them some comps, and I probably got 70, 80 people that all texted me and said, I'd like comps.
Oh, yeah.
So,
people love to talk about real estate.
Yeah.
So, what do you do to sell your listings? What special things do you do?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of confused why now with this coronavirus, everybody's going virtual, but I don't understand why everybody wasn't virtual before.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I've always offered virtual tours. I do them a little different now. I kind of everybody's going back to those 360 tours, which were kind of the only thing we had for a long time. But I really like the tours that, when you just walk through the house, the more just on your iPhone or whatever. I just think you can see more with those tours. I think those Matterport tours and those 360 tours are hard to follow.
They really are. They're kind of, some people, I sent it to somebody one time and they said, they got motion sickness.
Yeah.
from
we had Circle Picks that did those 360 tours, and they kind of went away. I mean, they're still there, but they don't do them anymore.
Yeah.
And then that Matterport, I just don't, HAR is really pushing those, but I don't think they're the better tour.
And don't you agree with me? And during this crisis, like I said, that things have been selling. A lot of it is because inventory's low.
Inventory was very low before.
Yeah, before, and now it's even gotten worse because some people are holding off. I tell my potential sellers, I'm like, let's get it on the market.
Yeah, because if there's a buyer out there, then he really wants to buy.
Right, and they've been selling in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
But what we do, and you do too, and you always have, is one of the most important parts of selling a house is there's three components. They always said, location, location, location. Well, that's not the only component. It's location, it's price. But don't you agree, Marilyn, that now it's also emotional and more emotional? When you walk into a house, you have to go, oh, I love this house.
Yeah. Well, I think that, if you're going to compete, I think well, first of all, right now, I don't think anyone wants to buy a fixer-upper. It's just too hard to negotiate or to maneuver right now.
And you don't know exactly what you're going to have to put in it and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. So we stage our houses
and
first.
I think staging is really, and I always staged too, so I don't know where that just all of a sudden.
I know.
Like we always did that. That was always stuff that Ferester did.
We've always had a garage full of accessories that we could throw in houses and stuff like that. Now I know
or even offering people to have an interior designer come out and just tell them we would move what they already had, just reset it up so it looked more inviting.
Yeah, exactly. And at our company too, we've always been more into quality than quantity. Therefore, we have like 18 agents. We're never going to have a ton of agents, which we're a really close group.
Yeah, it's a fun
sometimes
group.
Too close, but really close. But now we've gone to Zoom meetings or meetings online, whatever you use. But they've become kind of fun. The good thing for me is that everybody doesn't talk at once because they can't. They're not sitting next to somebody where they can start talking.
They have to mute themselves.
Yeah. I'm like, mute yourself. So everybody's muted. And then
but it is a great group because that was one thing I was worried about because in Rosemary, it was tough because we had a lot of men agents, really, which is the big difference.
Yeah.
And everybody like kind of fought for the same listings. So it was kind of very competitive, kind of mean-spirited.
Yeah, we don't do that.
And here, when I walked in, everybody was just,
super
friendly.
It's a really good group, and we work really hard. And then our stagers are actually in-house stagers that we use.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
They do a great job. They'll either stage, what you have, or they'll either stage with a vacant house with everything in it.
Yeah, I just had them do one that I have that they did a great job. They did the whole entire place.
I mean, they sell really quickly when they do that, so we just love it. But then I'm trying to think of a funny experience we had. I'm sure we had 1,000 of them, but do you remember anything?
Scary ones.
We had some scary ones. Yeah, do you remember any in particular? Because I'm older, I don't remember that well.
Nothing that I really want to tell people.
That's true. Most of our interesting stories are kind of like you have to be censored, so I don't know that we would want to tell them, but we have had some experiences, that's for sure. I mean, people are human, and we get into the most personal part of their lives, really. In their home, they are so emotional, and
sometimes it's for a bad reason, like a divorce or
and those are really fun because you're kind of the mediator between two people, and then you're the mediator between the buyers and the sellers, and it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? So it is interesting.
I've had pretty good luck with buyers and sellers not being ugly to each other, though.
Oh, well, that's because you're in the middle. I mean, it takes the two agents in the middle to keep it. I always realize why people need real estate agents, and a lot of things have popped up now that are like, let me sell your house. I can sell your house with just putting it online. That doesn't work. We don't believe in that.
Well, I mean, you have to have somebody that knows how to negotiate and someone that knows how to deal with another agent, because sometimes that's the hardest part.
Well, that could be the hardest part. It's always nice to work with a good agent.
Yeah, it is.
And then there's some agents that are automatically adversarial.
Yeah.
And that's not any fun either. But as I said, it's fun. I told a seller this morning, he got an offer the first day on the market, and then he was in full price, and he was like, I don't know. Are they going to want to come to the inspection because I don't want them there, during the coronavirus? And I said, well, if you can just leave for a little while for them to come. And come to find out, the buyer and they had worked together for back in their corporate days. They're both retired. And I called him this morning. I said, hey, I just found out something funny about these buyers that you're going to let come to your house for a little bit. And he said, what? And I said, y'all used to work together. And he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. So hopefully that'll blend. But it's going to be a good one because one of our agents sold it. So it's always good to do. So anyways.
That always makes it
easy. It is. Well, I know you got to get back to working in real estate while you're babysitting. What's his name?
Colin.
So Marilyn, during the COVID-19 crisis. Her son and daughter-in-law worked, couldn't take Colin to daycare, so she's been keeping him. Gigi. I'm BB. She's Gigi. Neither one of us wanted to be grandmother. So even though I'm a lot older than Marilyn, but because we just didn't like that name. I appreciate you coming up here in between babysitting.
Well,
you can go home now, put your sweats on, and take care of take care of Colin. But you do your work on your computer.
Oh yeah, I do it.
I still feel like I can boss her around because she's been here with me so long. So I just really enjoy bringing these podcasts to you, and thank you for tuning in if you are tuning in. And we're going to try to do this every couple of weeks and bring you some interesting stories. And we wanted to start out with my number one girl here and take you on through a lot of other good stories in the future. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.